So I've slowly been transitioning into talking about more animes and mangas, which I'm really happy about because I've wanted to talk about some of my favorite series for a long time. So the series I'm going to talk about today is called Call of the Night by Kotoyama, and this series is very special to me. It's probably one of my favorite series of all time, and it's actually about to end. Like, as of the recording of this video, there's only one chapter left, which is the 200th chapter. So I figured I would make a video about it and see if I could get some of you interested in reading it before it ends. Alright, so this series is a shonen, a romantic comedy, and a supernatural series. Now, the supernatural aspect comes in the form of having vampires in the human world. Now, wait, don't click away from the video. I know some of you aren't really big fans of vampire series. Now, at first, even I wasn't too keen on reading this series because of the vampire aspect, because vampires are such a saturated tropes in series, and most of the time they're drawn in erotic ways for fan service, or maybe they're just super OP and have a power complex or something along those lines. But this series has a way of handling the vampire aspect where it isn't too much in your face. The fact is there that vampires are in the series, but it isn't handled in a way where it feels like that's all the story is. So essentially it's about a human and a vampire and them having different experiences together during the nighttime, hence the name Call of the Night. Funny enough, this manga was actually inspiration for the name of my podcast. The manga is called Call of the Night and my podcast is called The Night Call. Do you see the similarities between them? That's just how much I love this series. So going back to the plot, basically we have a boy named Yamori who was a very intelligent and popular student, but he was also ignorant when it came to emotional and social concepts, especially love, which didn't work out so well when he was confessed to by a classmate and didn't even know how to react. Eventually he stopped going to school altogether and started roaming the streets at night, basically becoming a delinquent. And during one of his nighttime ventures, he runs into Nanakusa Nazuna, a very eccentric woman who he soon comes to find out is a vampire, after she tried to suck his blood. So from there we kind of have our main plot where Yamori becomes interested in the world of vampires and wants to become one himself. But in order for him to become one, Nazuna has to suck his blood, but there's another condition. For the transformation to work, Yamori has to fall in love with her. Basically how it works is, in order to become a subordinate of a vampire, you have to have romantic feelings for them. And if you remember, Yamori basically has no understanding of the concept of love, and what's more is that Nazuna isn't really the kind of girl you would instantly fall in love with. She's more of a best friend kind of girl rather than a girlfriend material. So you see where the conflict is with Yamori wanting to become a vampire, but then at the same time the vampire that's gonna make him a vampire doesn't really give off romantic vibes, and Yamori doesn't understand love. So for the most part their adventures are mostly them just bonding together with the intention of Yamori trying to fall in love with her, and that for the most part is the main focus of the story. Of course there's other elements included. The story introduces new characters and it expands on the themes of love, hatred, depression, self-discovery. We get introduced to new vampires and the story gives a new perspective on how they live in human society, because these vampires do drink blood. However, they try to go about it in pacifist ways like getting jobs or finding other roundabout ways to get blood, and you're gonna end up liking these vampires. And then we have a new plot that's introduced later with a detective who actually hates and investigates vampires. So the series starts off slow and simplistic and over time gets very well nuanced. In regards to the pacing, each chapter feels very episodic. So think of Monogatari, where there's a general plot but each episode has the characters exploring and going on side missions that contributes to the main plot in bits and pieces. The flow from chapter to chapter is basically seamless, so you're going to be jumping from one chapter to the other, not even realizing how quickly you're going through them. Another thing that I love about this series, and that you will love as well, is that the author is very good at setting an atmosphere. Like I said earlier, the majority of the chapters take place at night, so the sky is always dark and it's contrasted with very bright lighting. The art style is very dynamic and it has a very chill aesthetic to it. So overall, this manga is just a joy to read, to be honest, and I genuinely recommend that you guys try it out. There is a charm to this manga that I feel like you won't really find anywhere else. It has the ability to hook you without having to have anything major happen in the story. It's just that you really like the characters and the vibe that it gives you. So give it a try and let me know what your experience with this manga was. Did you put it in your favorites? Was it not your cup of tea? Or maybe you're just kind of indifferent about it. I just wanted to spread the word about this manga. The final chapter drops this week and I am not prepared. I'm going to be be depressed for like a week knowing that this series, this masterpiece, is officially over. But that is it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, have a wonderful day, and goodbye.